First, I want you to know you are not alone. The feelings of being worried, the feelings of having pessimistic self doubts about what is or what could be possible, the feelings that of being paralyzed and not taking action and doing the thing that you need to do to move forward. There are times where you decide, I'm not going to do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and you say, okay, I'll do it the next day. But that day never comes that you take that action. You worry about the unknown. You have pessimistic thoughts. You have feelings of self doubt. Well, my friend, this is what we call fear. This is fear. All of these behaviors that you're experiencing, if it be all at one time or at one point or another, you are experiencing fear. And I want you to know that as a human, this is in our nature to be in this state, but you do not have to stay in this state. Let's first break down what is fear exactly. Like, what is this thing, this fear that comes over us when we don't want it to, or we have no control to prevent it from coming in and out of our lives, all right? So I'm going to break it down just based on the dictionary or what it says. Fear is an emotional response to perceived threats or danger. Perceived threats or danger. It's also a psychological or a physiological aspect of fear, which is the fight or flight response. It also creates a sense of anxiety and avoidance behavior. All the things I described prior. Fear has also been defined as an acronym, which is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real, which means that we have this thought about what could happen. We have this thought about the worst case scenario, and then it paralyzes us and we become fearful. But I want you to understand that the idea of thinking about the future and what could happen is what's holding us back from what we need to do today and what is actually happening. So I want to help you in this video to understand what you can do to overcome your own fear and become fearless and build the confidence that you need to take the risks that you desire in order to achieve your big, audacious goals. When you have major goals and things that you desire, fear is naturally going to creep up. I experience fear often, probably more often than I desire to, which is probably why I decided to do this YouTube video. I never come here with the feeling that I know everything and I have all the answers, because I don't. I'm just sharing the tools and the tactics and approaches that I read about that work, or approaches that I've actually done, or things that I'm working through. This is not a platform of I have all the answers and these are things that you need to do and I trust and believe I've done it and I'm a perfectionist at it and I know exactly what to do. I still struggle through this. But I know that because I have experiencing the sense of fear, I know that I'm on the right path. And I know you too are on the right path, because that means you're doing things that are out of the ordinary. That means you're going after something that you truly desire. But we want you to continue down that path to pursue it. I don't want you to give up. So I'm offering you these tips and these guidance that I'm hoping can help you to get over that hump or get closer to overcoming your fear and just have the true belief that you can get through this. All right. So let's go through these tactics and tips that you can work on or work towards that can help both of us to get over our fear. All right. So number one, I want you to know that it is possible for you to get through this. I want you to know that on the other side of this, you will be fearless. You will gain the confidence to move forward. You will be able to do the things that you don't think that you can do today. At the end, you'll be so proud of yourself and you'll wonder, why did I wait so long to do this? Why didn't I do this sooner? But it's okay. It's okay. We're going to do this. We're going to get through this. All right. So the first thing I want you to understand is that we have to define our fears. We have to understand the fear. So you're probably like, fear is fear. Well, no, there's different categories of fear. And there's three. And I want to break down all three so that we can both understand what it means to understand our fears. So one fear that is most common, or maybe most common for me, is the fear of failure. The fear of failure. The fear of failure is just simply that. You don't do what you desire to do because you're afraid that you're going to fail. And those feelings of failure, they creep up And so you kind of paralyze yourself so you don't take action. But understand that the fear of failure is a natural behavior. We are humans, and there's a learning process that we have to go through. And without these stages of learning, we're not going to be able to evolve. So if you think about being able to evolve to get to where you desire, you have to be potentially bad at something, or you may not be that great at something before you can get excellent at something. So let me make that a little bit clearer. In order to get to the desire phase of where you want to be, you have to get through the hard moments of the learning first. So you're going to be bad before you be good. You're going to be good before you can be great, and you're going to be great before you can be excellent, right? There's different levels to this, but you have to go through the bruises, you have to go through the mistakes, you have to go through the hard challenges before it can eventually get better for you. But I want you to know, don't see it as failure. See it as an evolved state, right? You're growing to it, but you got to start somewhere in order to get much better. I hope that makes sense, right? But I understand the fear of failure is natural. Understand that this is part of the natural growth process in order to get to where you desire to be. All right, the next type of fear is fear of judgment. It's the idea of fearing what others might say, right? And we get into this position of, I don't want to do this thing because I don't know what my friends are going to think. I don't know if people are going to receive what I'm throwing out there. And we just kind of have this feeling that we may not get the response that we expect. And so that fear of judgment and that fear of rejection, those are things that get in our way because we're constantly seeking the approval of others. For me, I do oftentimes seek the approval of others. Sometimes the validation that we think that we need, that we really don't need. But you have to be so secure in where you are and understand that right now, where you are, it is okay. Where you are right now is good enough. But sometimes that criticism, that feedback, it hurts and it's tough. But sometimes there's this positive criticism that's actually going to help us. It's going to propel us. So welcome that judgment piece and understand what it is and what that judgment is going to be. But again, the fear of judgment is a type of fear that we want to acknowledge and know that it exists, right? We want to acknowledge it in order to overcome it. The third type of fear is the fear of the unknown. We're not sure what's going to happen on the other side. We are now going into uncharted territory. And so we are fearful of what the other side could be because we really don't know, right? It's that concept is the grass greener on the other side? And sometimes it might be and sometimes it may not, but you can adjust to it, all right? So first, when it comes to overcoming fear, you want to first understand your fear. Where are you? Are you at the point of the fear of failure, fear of judgment, or the fear of the unknown? Let's start there. Understand your judgment, understand your fear and what category it fits in. All right. Number 2, to overcome your fears, you have to develop a growth mindset. So as I mentioned earlier, as you're going through the process of potentially fear of failure, there's levels to it, right? There's the mistakes, there's the growing pains, all of that is part of the process. But when you go into something, you have to see it that way. You have to change your mindset on how you're seeing this experience. Wayne Dyer says this term that I often have to remind myself of, and it's a quote actually, which is, in order for you to change the way you think about things, the things you think about will change. I'm going to say it again. When you change the way you think about things, the things you think about change. So instead of thinking about all the negative things or the challenges you're having, think about the idea that the thing that you're going through is the learning stage, it's the growing stage, and you may become more receptive to what you're experiencing. So even for myself, as I am doing YouTube videos, I know that I may not get as many views as I expect, as many people may not tap in with me or they may not get it. But as I get better, as my content gets better, as I evolve, as I learn, I'll begin to get more viewers, more people to tap in with me. But it's not about me figuring out, the end in mind, right? I'm going to get this thing at the end. I have to just focus on what's happening right now, right? I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm evolving in this space, and you're joining again with me on this journey. So I welcome you on this journey with me. But everything takes time. Everything is just one step at a time. And you don't have to overwhelm yourself with all the things that you think that you have to have figured out before you can move forward. Don't do it to yourself. So what I want you to do when it comes to the growth mindset is I want you to focus on the actual effort and not the outcome. Focus on the effort and not the outcome. Focus on the task or the steps that you need to take and the fact that you're making, right, steps. The fact that you're taking steps towards it. But understand it does not have to be perfect. Just take it one step at a time. And over time, you'll get the outcome that you expect. But remember, consistency is key. And taking the necessary steps, no matter how small or how big, is all a part of the growth process, and you'll get better with time. All right? The next one, to help you overcome your fear, is to build self-confidence. You have to build your confidence over time. But how do you build your confidence? All right, well, let me explain how to build your confidence, and over time, again, your confidence will build. And that is, you want to create small, incremental goals for yourself. And as you achieve those goals, you'll start to build up the confidence to do more and do bigger goals and do greater things. And then eventually, you'll get to where you desire. But as you're building out these small goals, it's important also to acknowledge your achievement. Like, acknowledge where you are in the process, celebrate it. Again, no matter how small or how big, celebrate it. It's an achievement. It's a hump. It's a growth phase, right? And then last but not least, when it comes to this, is I want you to practice positive self-talk. Positive self-talk will help you to build your confidence. Self-talk is an excellent tool that is just those thoughts and those feelings that you're saying to yourself. What are you reassuring yourself? What are the things that you are saying to yourself that are positive? You want to get rid of those negative thoughts. It takes time, but just acknowledge when those thoughts come in and immediately change it so that you can get over the mental phases and thoughts that you have in your brain, which usually is the thing that's holding us back. It's our mental. So you have to build that up, and it helps us to build our confidence. And when you're building your confidence, it's also important that you surround yourself with the right people that will affirm you and that will give you the sense of encouragement and will help to build your confidence. So if you can get with a supportive group of people, be around a supportive person, your best friend or your sister, your sibling, whoever that is, let them help and support you to go through this, because over time, it will build your confidence. But don't over depend on these individuals, because then you're going to get into that fear of judgment, right? What are they going to say? Just the small incremental steps, a little bit of feedback, a little bit of support is all you really need to keep going. All right, you got it. And the next one that I want you to do in order to help you get over your fear is to create a solid plan. Put a plan in place of what it is that you're striving towards. What is the thing that you want to do? Make sure the plan is clear, step by step. These step-by-steps will help you to understand where are you going and what do you need to do to get there. It kind of goes back to that fear of the unknown, right? What you don't know, it may scare you. But if you have a solid plan of what you need to do and you're following it, you'll get there, right? It may take you a little bit longer, but it doesn't matter. Someone else, it might be something they can do instantly, it could come to them naturally. But for you, it's taking a little bit longer. But it is okay. Just follow the plan, stick with it, stay committed, and you'll be able to overcome your fear. Now, that same plan that you have, it's important to review it often from time to time. But also, think about getting a mentor or a coach who's done the thing that you've done, who has done the thing that you're desiring to do, and they can give you the direction, the guidance that you need, and that takes away some of that fear, because some of the things that you're thinking about could happen or may happen, they may be able to help you to get over that and explain that that's not the case, or they may be able to give you a better route or a more strategic route in order to get there. It may help you to get over the fear. And maybe even the thing that you're fearing, they had already experienced it, and they can give you guidance and direction on how they overcame the very thing that you're trying to get through. All right? And then the next thing I want you to do, the very last thing, is just to take small steps. Small incremental steps will build your confidence and will reduce the overwhelming fear that you may be experiencing. I feel that oftentimes when I think about all the things that have to be done, all the pieces that have to be brought together in order to make the thing that I desire come together, I get overwhelmed and I fear the unknown. But when I take the time to just break things out into small, simple batches, and I do just a little bit each day, right? When I talk about the top 3 priorities, those who've watched our previous videos, I talk about the top 3 priorities for the day. And just one of those priorities that you have is just taking that one step closer to your goal or what it is you're trying to achieve. If you try to do everything all in one day, all at one time, it's going to become overwhelming, and you will create fear. You will create anxiety. You will begin to get worried, and then you get overwhelmed by it, and you do nothing, and it goes back to the idea of feeling paralyzed, and you postpone the thing that you desire to do because it's just too much. But if you take it literally one step at a time, one small step, one small action, you'll get closer to the thing that you desire. And that fear will slowly begin to diminish. You'll slowly begin to overcome it. So for me, I'll give an example. When I started to do this YouTube channel, I didn't know all the things I need to do in order to make it all happen. But I started to watch videos to learn more about what I need to do. I started to ask other people what I needed to do. And I made small incremental changes in the things that I was doing so I can evolve it, so I can get better at it. It's not always easy, but you have to take the first step. You have to do the thing, at least take that action to get you closer to what it is you desire. But if you don't take that step, if you don't do that small little thing, you're not going to get there, right? So be okay with it. I got bumps, I've got bruises, I've got setbacks, I've got mistakes, but it's part of the process. I've got my growth mindset in mind, and I'm getting through it, all right? So hope that helps. So what does that mean for you? What can you do to start making the progress and to start getting over your fears and becoming fearless and feeling confident about what it is that you're doing? So there's a couple of steps I want to help you. I'm going to guide you through these. I'll keep them very simple, but there's 3 steps, and I'll throw in a bonus to help you. It will help me too, all right? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to identify your fears and write them down. So again, the 3 that I mentioned earlier, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, and the fear of the unknown. Which category of fear are you currently falling in? Identify that first. And once you understand that, I want you to take a few minutes to start thinking of ways that you can address those fears. How can you address the fears? And you can use one of the 5 tactics I described above. But once you identify what it is, I want you to start thinking through, how can I overcome it? All right, that's the first thing I want you to do. The second thing I want you to do is to break down the goal that you're trying to achieve, or break down the thing that you're trying to pursue that is causing you to have the fear. And I want you to break it down into small, achievable goals and take action towards it every single day. So for today, think about what is one small thing that you can do today that can get you closer. Just one, not 3, not 4, not 5, just one. And once you do that one thing, I want you to acknowledge it. I want you to celebrate it in some way, and begin to identify the next task that you're going to take, the next action you're going to take on the next day. Don't do it all in one day. It'll overwhelm you and you won't do it. All right. And the third thing I think is important for you to do is to find an accountability partner. Identify who your accountability partner is going to be. You can join a community. You can ask a best friend to hold you accountable for what it is that you're seeking to do. Or you can ask, you can find a coach, right? A coach that can help you to understand what you need to do that can help you accountable. These are all things that are going to reduce your fears, but take those steps today, and I guarantee it's going to help you, and it'll help me too. And then for our bonus, I want you to say an affirmation to yourself. When you have those moments of fear, I want you to say to yourself, I am okay right now. I am okay right now. I am okay right now. And the reason that this particular affirmation is important is because I want you to stay present. I want you to stay in this moment right now. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about the future. Just stay right here and right now. And that is going to help you from not going down the path of triggering thoughts that will make you become fearful, that will make you reduce your confidence, that will make you change your beliefs. I don't want you to have the thoughts of self-doubt or disbelief. Just focus on the fact of where you are right now is enough. And you have what it takes. So again, that affirmation, I am okay right now. Okay? So I hope this helped you. Again, I want you to understand how important it is to overcome your fears and your confidence. I'll give a quick recap and then we're going to wrap it up. All right? So in order to overcome your fears, number 1, understand your fears. Number 2, develop a growth mindset. Number 3, build your self-confidence. 4, create a solid plan. 5, take small steps. And then the actions I want you to take is identify and write down your fears. Make small achievable goals, like create those. And then find an accountability partner. And last but not least, say your affirmation. I am okay right now. So if this helped you, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let me know. How are you going to take action today? You can drop it down in the comments. And join me again for my next video. I'll see you again next week. Thank you for tuning in.